Hello everyone, my name is Alan Speller, Chairman of the Board with Roanoke Electric Cooperative. As we continue to rise above this pandemic and all the changes that it has caused, we are constantly looking for new ways to stay connected and keep you informed and engaged with the things that your cooperative is doing to provide services and meet your needs. In the best interest for the health and safety of everyone, virtual and online platforms are working best for our team here at Roanoke as we continue to keep you updated on some of our high impact initiatives. That's why we're continuing our virtual Power Hour series this year. Looking to the future, these virtual events will shed light on Vision 2025 and plans to take our co-op to the next level. And most of all, our goals will benefit you and the communities we serve. Be on the lookout for more information about this year's dates and times on our website and social media platforms. And remember to stay connected. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dennis McPhee, Vice President of Member Services, Marketing, and Public Relations for Roanoke Electric Cooperative. For more than 80 years, Roanoke has served homes and businesses in northeastern North Carolina. While providing safe, reliable, and affordable electricity is our core purpose, our mission goes beyond that to enhance the quality of life in the diverse communities we serve. As an electric cooperative, we're different. Unlike other companies, we are owned and operated by the people that we serve. That means you're never a customer, but always a member owner. Another thing that makes us different is that we are guided by a set of 7 principles, one of which is concern for community. We take great pride in participating in programs that uplift our communities. We're also grateful to stand in solidarity with our member owners in charitable giving efforts through our Operation Roundup program. By rounding up your bill to the nearest dollar, you help us give much needed assistance to local fire and rescue organizations, expand educational opportunities for our youth, and promote economic development in our region. While the average member owner donates only 50 cents per month, it adds up to a lot of help for our communities. Remember, it's the small things that make a big difference.
Hello, I'm Marshall Cherry, President and CEO of Roanoke Electric Cooperative. We are proud to join electric cooperatives across the state in working towards net zero carbon emissions by 2050 and a 50% reduction in emissions by 2030. Electric vehicles are becoming an important part of this mission. If you own an EV or are considering the option, the Co-op's pilot program offers member owners a discounted rate for charging their electric vehicles. In addition to the discounted rate, the first 10 member owners participating will receive a $1,000 incentive. Member owners also pay a flat fee of $50 per month for up to 450 kilowatt hours per month and a new home charging station valued at $1,700, which will be professionally installed at no upfront cost. Learn more by contacting our office today.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Derek Buffalo. I am Vice President of Innovation and Technology, and I would like to welcome you to Roanoke Electric Cooperative, our September series of the Power Hour. Welcome. Joining me this evening is my co-host and colleague, Frank Brennan. Frank's current role is in solar operations, and he is our lead substation technician. Welcome, Frank, and thanks for joining me this evening. I would like to note that our Power Hour webinars are designed to keep our member owners and the community informed, engaged, and educated on Roanoke's programs, services, and issues around our community. Frank and I have the honor to present to you our panelists who will share some great information and resources that will keep you and your families informed. Before we start, I would like to remind you to turn off your cameras and mute your phone. And mute your microphones, sorry. Our meeting will be recorded and you will be able to view it later on our website and social media platforms. Do not forget, whenever possible, please share the webinar with others that are not in attendance of today's meeting. Now, I have the pleasure to introduce today's distinguished board member, Mr. Jeffers, and ask him to give us the invocation. Before Mr. Jeffers gives us the invocation, I would like to tell you a short description about Mr. Jeffers. Mr. Jeffers is a native of Halifax and has served on the Roanoke Electric Cooperative Board of Directors since 2011. He's a graduate from Halifax County Technical Institute, where he studied business administration. In addition to his role on the board, he serves as board member and president of Tar Heel Electric Membership Corporation. He's also been the past chairman of the Halifax Community College Alumni Association. Also, while having a ecumenical ministry in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. Mr. Jeffers, I turn it over to you to give us the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Buffalo. Let us bow for prayer, please. Our Heavenly Father, we're so gracious unto you for all you have done for us. And we thank you today for allowing us to have this Power Hour session. Oh, I've attended several of them and I've enjoyed every one I've attended. And I pray that everyone that's in attendance today will certainly enjoy it and get a lot out of it. We thank you for our Roanoke Electric Cooperative. We thank you for everyone that is attending today. We ask blessings upon all. This is our prayer in the name of our Savior. Amen.
Amen. Our first panelist that we have this evening for our tourism safety awareness panel is Tyrone Ruffin. Tyrone was born and raised in Hertford County. Tyrone has been serving the community as a law enforcement officer for 15 years. Tyrone is a college graduate with a degree in criminal justice technology from Pitt Community College. He is also the recipient of the Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate, which is the highest honor the state of North Carolina rewards a law enforcement officer. Wow, go Tyrone. He is also a recipient of the Intermediate Law Enforcement Certificate and has completed numerous specialized training through the North Carolina Justice and Educational Training Standard. In May of 2022, Tyrone won the Democratic nomination for sheriff in Bertie County and will be sworn in as sheriff on December the 5th of this year of 2022. Tyrone, I turn it over to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, King. And good afternoon. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here with you today. I'm looking forward to hearing the other panelists speak, but I am here to talk about tourism safety awareness. And thank you for the grand introduction. But we all know that crime is definitely rising and is a growing concern in America. So when we travel, I'm sure that we all want to leave home safely and we want to return home safely. But there has definitely been a change in people. There has been a change in our economy, and there has definitely been a change in our health risk with the new world pandemics that we face. And those things can be a safety concern for tourists. Here are a few things to consider, and that is to do your research on your destination. Read the traveling brochures and internet reviews, and do not visit a place that you have not researched. Don't draw attention. Try to blend in with as much as possible to the destination you have chosen. I was reading an article earlier where it says that people who appear to be from out of town are most likely vulnerable to crime than others. Be aware of your surroundings. And a big part of traveling and tourism is the opportunity to meet new people and to learn about their cultures. Be very careful and use good judgment when talking to strangers. When talking to strangers. Now, if there's someone that you see that's acting strange, that should be a hint to let you know that you should immediately leave the area. And also be cautious about using public Wi-Fi. We know that we're living in a time now where scammers and hackers will take anything. Be very careful and very cautious about using public Wi-Fi. And also make sure that you follow and obey all laws. A lot of times people that are traveling right through here in Bertie County, which we have US 17 that comes through, a lot of times people are not familiar with the traffic laws and the firearm laws. But what I want to talk about is the firearm laws when you come through North Carolina as tourists, and to know that in North Carolina, it is legal. It's legal to open carry in North Carolina without a permit if you can legally own a firearm. Now, make sure that you hear what I say, if you can legally own a firearm, okay? North Carolina do recognize concealed permits from other states, but travelers must obey North Carolina's concealed guidelines. So if you have a concealed permit from South Carolina, Georgia, or somewhere, we do honor that in the state of North Carolina. But the issue is you have to make sure that you still notify law enforcement just as you did when you did your concealed carry class. And those are just a few of the things that I wanted to share with you about tourism safety. And I want to say again, thank you so much for this opportunity to let me be a part and to enlighten the listeners on tourism safety. Thank you.
That was awesome information, Tyrone. And I think the key here is, guys, is to make sure that you are legally able to carry a gun to do open carry here for the state of North Carolina. Tyrone, normally what we do, guys, is go through all the panelists before we have a Q&A session. But today, Tyrone has an engagement that he needs to get to. So what we're going to do for this, just for Tyrone, and then we'll resume our normal procedures after our other two panelists. We're going to have a Q&A session now for Tyrone. So Tyrone, maybe you can come back on camera with me. And guys, do you have any questions or anything that for Tyrone before he leaves about his presentation or his tips, his safety tips? Anybody?
All right. Sounds good.
Going once, going twice. All right, Tyrone, we do appreciate you, and thanks so much for your support and participation in our programs. Thank you, Tyrone.
Very welcome. Have a blessed day.
All right. And I'm going to turn it over to my guy, Frank, my co-host. So Frank, you're up.
All right, our next guest is going to be Ben Barrett. Ben has 3.5 years with the co-op as a line technician. He's going to give us some hunting safety tips. Take it away, buddy.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
I got my video on. I don't know if y'all can see me or not, though. Just a few things. Frank asked me to speak, and what he asked me to speak about is not really going to be much of a challenge. I've grown up hunting. It's nothing new to me. A lot of the stuff to me is, I guess you say, common sense, but it's nothing, doesn't hurt to share what's common sense to me to everyone else. Some of the things that I've learned didn't really come about till I started working here at Roanoke. And now that I work here, working on the line crew, maintaining the lines, they make a lot more sense. The first one, when you're hunting, pay attention. Sorry, my dog. Pay attention to overhead power lines. You know, watch where you're shooting. Try to pay attention to everything going on, and because the last thing we want to do is be going into the swamp at 2 o'clock in the morning because you shot a power line down. Next one, ideally, do not strap your deer stands to a power pole. That causes more problems than it's worth. It's not worth it. It ends up being a problem for us. Secondly, or third, never walk with a loaded gun. That's something I've just was taught from an early age, was always preached to me. It's something you'd really just, it's something you never take for granted. Never, always treat a gun like it's loaded, even if you know it's not. Another one, when you go hunting, especially if you go hunting down into a swamp or any kind of heavily wooded area, always make sure somebody knows where you are. Because, you know, even me that's grown up in the woods, you know, comfortable, it's very easy to get turned around. And I'm sure anybody that's ever hunted or spent any time in the woods can, you know, agree with me that you get turned around pretty easy when it's dark out there in the middle of the woods. Everything looks the same. It's just, it's something simple, but just at least let one person know where you are at all times. So if you're not back at a time you should be, they'll know to come looking for you before it's too late. Know your rules and regulations for the county. Every county is different. You don't want to learn your rules when you're getting questioned by the game warden. That's not the time to be figuring out when you're in the right and when you're in the wrong. I've been there, I've done that. Saying I don't know, that doesn't work every time. So just know your rules, know what you're supposed to be doing before you get out there. That's simple, easy. You know, you go online and find out anything you need to know. And I think a lot of hunters nowadays are getting a bad reputation because they're looked at as just killing senselessly, and you have people trying to do away with guns. And true hunters are conservationists. They genuinely care about what they're doing. They care about the animal population. And if you don't control the population, Mother Nature will take care of it. And Mother Nature's a lot more brutal than what we are. I've seen it. I've seen the deer population get out of control. And next thing you know, you have a disease problem, and it's pitiful what any animal's population goes through. So hunters are conservationists. I know there's some that take it for granted, but there's always a few bad apples in every bunch. You can't let a few judge the entire population. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the ones who do what they're supposed to try to make up for the ones who don't. So I know that's probably what I just said seems like common sense, but it is what it is. And I hope somebody can at least take something out of what I just said.
Thank you, Benton. That was awesome. Very good. We sure appreciate your time, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Frank.
Right. Next up, we got Mr. Cliff Netherly. He's been with the co-op for 19 years as a line supervisor, is his current job. Cliff's going to be doing storm preparedness and electric safety. Take it away, Cliff.
Thanks, Frank. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to try to do the best I can on this. I'm not a good speaker, so bear with me a little bit.
You do great.
The co-op, we really strive in making, number one, everything safe, our members safe, the community safe, and just the whole area that we work as safe as we can. And we take a lot of pride in that. And the second thing we do is we try to keep them lights on. And I can promise you, every one of these guys on this picture in front of you right here, and the management staff, the leadership staff, all the way to the cashier at the front, our heart is in this 110%. And that's one of the things I love about this co-op. You don't see that everywhere. It's all hands on deck when it comes to being prepared in emergency situations. And I'm gonna go over that. Our emergency response procedure is reviewed at least twice a year. And then, of course, we're gonna get a great notice on any kind of hurricane coming or ice storm. When that happens, our leadership staff, our line crews, we all come together.
Oh my God.
We are going to, it's a lot of work behind the scenes that a lot of the public don't get to see. It's very stressful, but it's very rewarding in the same aspect. So days before, they're going to sit down and we keep monitoring as it progresses what the storm is doing. And you can, as everybody knows, by day, it changes. I mean, it may turn and go out into the ocean, or it may come right for us. So we got a little heads up on that. So what the guys in the field are going to be doing is they'll be going over their trucks. We'll be stocking trucks. We'll be putting wire on trucks, sleeves, any kind of material that we need. We have a right large capacity of fuel on the yard that we'll make sure is capped off and we're full of fuel. Chainsaws are going to be a big part of this. Another thing that I'm going to speak on is we're usually going to have a pretty good, so everyone's good, but we're going to have a very thorough safety meeting about making sure that all of our safety guidelines are followed, all our procedures are followed, because we know that we may be working for 2 days straight before we get some rest. We try not to, but we don't never know what we're getting ready to get handed. So we make sure with people getting fatigued and everything, it's very easy to miss a step. And so we're going to make sure we stay on top of that. The things that people don't realize is during Isabel, I was involved in that, and you had 300 men come into our little office in Rich Square. And we're more prepared now with the new office and the way things are set up, but trying to house 300 contractors and line personnel along with tree cutters, it's a job. Not only do you got to house them, we got to feed them. The supplies and trying to keep 300 men going is a tough job. If you look at that picture, it's probably about 25 to 30 guys. They're not all out on the crew every day, but they can lead a crew if we call a crew in to help us. And what we call them are bird dogs. And all they're going to do, they don't know the area. So all they're going to do is get you started, show you where it's down at, show you where the breakers are, and they're going to turn you loose. But with that being said, you got to figure out, we get a lot of complaints sometimes. Well, all I see them do is ride by. I see a truck go by, but they didn't do nothing. In a short storm, we're going to jump right on that outage. The whole crew's coming in, everybody's available. We're going to be working. When you have a catastrophic hurricane, let's say like Isabel, my God, I hope we never see a Katrina. Me and Frank were able to go down there and assist with that, but the devastation is just unbearable. I mean, it's not just one little community. It's miles and miles and miles. I mean, it was from here to Raleigh. I don't think a pole was standing. I mean, when you start seeing cell phone towers leaning over, you got problems. So what we're going to get into then is what we call assessments. We're getting ready. We're writing down. We're trying to get a plan together. So when all these men come in here with all this equipment, all these trucks, we know where to put them. We know where they're needed, and we can work a whole lot more efficiently by doing that. So sometimes it all depends on the storm. Sometimes we can handle it, get a little bit of help. take care of it in a day or 2 or 3. But when we know it's going to be a week long or a multiple 10-day outage, I hate to see them, but they do happen. We've been fortunate here lately. I'm going to knock on some wood, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen again. It's just a matter of when. That we've seen that working like that and getting assessments, things, when we do get the help, they go a whole lot quicker by getting your lights on. The second thing is they say, well, nothing's wrong with the line. I've done rode this line out. A lot of our members live in the, they know where the lines feed from. We're rural America. We know one another. Nothing's wrong with it. Well, if Dominion supplies all our substations with transmission, if Dominion's transmission line goes down and they're not supplying me with power, I cannot provide power back out of my substation to my members. And that can be very frustrating because I know, I said, look, I'm ready to go. One of y'all, I need some power. So we're kind of like in the same boat as the members. When are you going to get me some lights? Is the way. It's kind of funny how that falls, but that's what happens. Well, also, TEMA and statewide organizes our mutual aid between co-ops. It's called Cooperation Among Cooperatives. So we call them, if we need help, they'll get some crews on standby. They're the ones who sends us the help. We kind of give them a number of what we think we might need, and they kind of round it up, call other co-ops, all across the country, and that's how we get them here. Same thing goes with us. We get on a list, and if we don't get hit, and let's say our neighboring co-op gets hit by a tornado or something, that's how we'll go help them. During the storm, let's talk about some generators. We have a lot of generators out there on the system. Everybody's not fortunate enough to have standby, self-contained generators that automatically come on. So you're using portable generators. If they are hooked up incorrectly, that can be a death sentence for a lineman. That can be very dangerous. Power don't matter which way it runs. It'll come through that transformer and jump it down, or it'll boost it back up to primary voltage. And that can be very bad. So be very careful about when you hear generators running. Just because that line's laying on the ground does not mean that line is dead. You're going to have a lot of trees in the road. The trees falling, the wires in the road. We ask everybody, most of the time DOT is helping us. They're going to call us directly. We'll go clean the line up, may not put the line up right then, but we'll get the line out of the way and get it safe so they can do the tree removal. Just don't start cutting on trees if you see power lines in there, because power is funny. You can't smell it, you can't see it, and you can't hear it until it's too late. So that's something to go on. During a terrible storm, like a hurricane or something, most of the time we're going to work until the conditions get unsafe to be out there. And most time, that's a judgment call. It varies, but we're going to pull the crews back in until it's safe to resume to go back out. And we're not going to go unless 911 calls and we deem it necessary to, yes, we got to go. There's life at stake right here. We got to do something, and that's a judgment call also. Nowadays they're coming up with what back then they didn't do it. If you're familiar with a hosky, we only have a few motels and hotels, so it's really challenging for us to house that many men. That becomes stress. So they've came up. We've talked about tent cities. We see that a lot where they'll come in, set up tents in neighbor areas, and the guys will actually live out of the tents. But it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. The ladies in the office will be washing clothes and cooking. It goes on and on. But that's a little bit about what goes on behind the storm preparedness. One more thing I'll mention is it's got all of us worried. We're doing the best we can. Like with anything, supply is very, very hard to get right now. Some transformers, we're having a 6-month backlog on trying to get transformers. So it ain't like we can pick up the phone and call and say, hey, send me so many transformers. We got a lot on the yard and we do the best we can, but we are worried a little bit about if somebody gets hit material, because it's getting hard to come by right now. Hopefully that's starting to get better. Any questions on the storm preparedness? I think that's all on that one, Frank.
That's awesome, Cliff. Great job. Great information. I hope everybody got something out of it on how we work the storms. Great job. Thank you.
Okay, moving into electrical safety. What we've done is Eastern Electric Cooperatives of Eastern North Carolina came together. Before this happened, we had a little bitty demo board that was probably about 3 foot long. Made a little arc, nothing big. I mean, I think all the kids saw it, and out that went around, it got kind of boring. It really did. So what we did was a bunch of co-ops got together in Eastern North Carolina, and Roanoke was one of them, and funded putting together what you see in the picture here is the demo, what we call the demo trailer. And what we do is we take a 45 kW generator and we actually send voltage through a live transformer backwards, just like you would backfeed through a generator, what we were talking about earlier, which I never want you to do, but what we do in this scenario. And we're actually pumping 7,200 volts, which is our primary voltage, back onto the line. And it is hot, just like it would be out there on a regular power line. We've been going around to several fire departments and demonstrating this. We've been to schools. We've showed it at our annual meeting in different locations. It really shows what will happen, and it makes a humongous arc. The generator, you can hear the generator. I mean, it takes on a tremendous amount of load, and we're able to demonstrate a ton of different scenarios. And some of them scenarios are we've had people take metal ladders and stick them up against a house and get into the line. Fire hoses. We take a fire hose and wet it down and show it drooping down and how it will conduct electricity. We also have a little rolling cart on wheels that we're demonstrating a car wreck. And what happens there is you're fine. It's not a great situation, but if you're over in a car wreck, it demonstrates you stay, if you're okay and you can, stay in the car. Do not get out of the car. If you have to get out of the car, it may look funny, but it's going to keep you alive. What we're going to do is you put both your feet together and you're going to bunny hop away from that car, taking big, huge hops. Do not drag your feet. Your feet have to stay together, and you cannot touch the car and the ground at the same time. That's a worst case scenario. We always tell these farmers, farmers are really bad. Not bad. They can't help it. They're doing the best they can, especially with rain season starts to rain or whatever. They're trying to get the crops in. They tear a power pole down on top of a tractor. Stay in that tractor. If you can stay in that tractor, you stay in that tractor. Call 911. They know how to get in touch with us, and we'll be there as quick as we can. We got people on call 24/7, 7 days a week, no matter what. So it kind of demonstrates, though, how to do that in that scenario with car wrecks. To the firemen, I know it's some fire chiefs, I believe we talked to last night that we're going to be on here. I know it's hard. I know it's a difficult situation to get thrown in when the house is on fire. Try not to pull meters if you can. Cut the mains off. If you got a question, this comes up in every fire meeting we go to is, well, how do I tell if it's REA or Roanoke Electric or Halifax Electric or Tadlin or Dominion or Duke? Or how do I know who the power company is here? Because we do twine and cross each other. If you can get to that meter and look at the meter, it has the name of the company on the meter. It's going to have Roanoke Electric on there, or it's going to have Dominion on there, or it'll have Duke on there. And that's how you know where you are. A second thing, we have a lot of rural fire departments around our area is if you look, this is another thing, if you can remember, if you look at our poles, and I'm not talking about the yard light poles and stuff like that, go to the main pole at the road. And if you look, there's always going to be a big letter on top, followed by numbers underneath. That number is how every one of our line personnel get around. In fact, when the outage CRC, our outage team calls us, that's the first thing I'm looking for. I do not want an address, which is nice. I want a pole number, because that pole number, I can, after years of doing this, I get around, I know just about where I can come within probably 10 poles of where you are. And then I start counting down. So that's a very helpful information. Substations. Everybody's got substations in their community. If one ever goes up, you ever see a substation fire, and I'm talking about, they're chained off with a lot of electrical equipment in there, huge transformers, a bunch of wires going in there. If there's ever a fire in there or explosion, I mean, it happens. There's nothing nobody can do. Let it burn. The only thing I can ask the fire department to do is contain it from spreading outside the fence. Stay out of the fence, stay away. All you can do is pretty much contain it from spreading to the forest or a neighbor's house or whatever. Let it burn. The damage is already done. There's nothing you can save. That's the same thing that goes on with solar fields. We see solar fields popping up every day. They're growing. If something goes wrong in one of them, firemen, there's nothing. Let it go. That solar panel can be replaced. They can fix that. There's no need in you going in there or trying anything. Just like I said, try to keep it from spreading. One of the big things about, we'll jump back to emergencies a little bit, is if everybody would know your 911 address. Sometimes you call 911, make sure you speak the county you're in, because we have had situations and where we've called and it may jump to it, depending on what cell tower, you may jump to a neighboring county. So make sure you tell them what county you're in. But anyways, that's about all I got right now. We in the demo we do show like birds getting on the line, squirrels getting in the line. We got a lighter that we actually heat up, and like I said again, the car, and we kind of go over. Everybody looks up pole and says, "What's up there?" Kind of show what's up the pole and what to look out for. That's about all I got, Frank, unless you got any questions.
That was awesome, Cliff. Maybe at the end we'll have some Q&A and get some questions, but a lot of information there. Very good. If anybody hasn't seen that demo, I recommend try to find where it's at one time and go check that out. It's really exciting to watch that the guys work that. So thank you very much, Cliff. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Derek, I hand it back to you.
Okay. Now we're going to our fire department panelists. And we're here to talk about our Care Trust Roundup program. Oops, sorry, I didn't have my video started. Let me start my video. There we go. So we have panelists from our local fire department, and we're here to talk about the Care Trust Roundup program, and also the good and how the Care Trust Roundup program have helped, these individual fire departments. For those that don't know what the Care Trust Roundup program is, The Operation Roundup is a grant program that awards nonprofit organizations with a 501c3 status or IRS designated nonprofit status. The program allows Roanoke Electric owners to round up their electric bill to the next highest dollar while donating that amount to our Care Trust program. It has been estimated that our member contributes on an average of 50 cents per month or $6 per year. Funds are administered quarterly by the Care Trust Board of Directors to organizations that serve the health, safety, educational, and recreational needs of citizens within our service territory. First up that we have today, our panelist is Paul Noel. Paul Noel of Northampton County has 36 years of service in emergency services and is currently the chief of EMS for Northampton County local government. Awesome, Paul. He is captain at Gaston's Volunteer Fire Department. He's also chief cadet advisor for Fire EMS Cadet Program, committee chair to the Northampton LEPC, and board member for the North Carolina Association of Rescue and EMS. Paul, I turn it over to you for your presentation. You can start your video, Paul, and unmute yourself. Okay, well, maybe Paul's having some technical difficulties. I'll go over to Mark Vick. Mark Vick, sorry, I wanted to make sure I was off mute. Mark Vick is the fire chief at Rich Square Fire Department and has been in the fire service for 18 years. He has held various positions in the fire department, including firefighter, EMT, lieutenant, captain, assistant chief, and the most current role as chief. He's passionate. His passion is helping people and giving back to the community he serves. Also, he holds a range of certifications related to the fire service industry and currently serves as the president of Northampton County's Fire Association. Awesome credentials. With that being said, Mark, I'll turn it over to you. Make sure you turn your camera on and unmute yourself.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure for you guys to have me today. And I appreciate the introduction. I can't say enough about the Operation Roundup program. It has been extremely beneficial for our department. It's helped us purchase multiple different pieces of equipment, ranging from extrication equipment, communication equipment, general firefighting equipment that we use on a daily basis to do what we need to do to serve our community. Like I said, we are extremely grateful to have such a program in this area, you know, to help underserved communities like ours. This past year, we were actually in 2022, early 22, we were awarded a $5,000 grant to purchase our last piece of needed extrication equipment for our newly in service rescue truck, which was a set of airbags, excuse me, that we use to lift vehicles during extrication events and try to rescue and trap people. Like I said, the program has been good for us over probably a 15-year span or even longer. I know since I've been in the department, I've been one of the sole responsible people for submitting that grant and dealing directly with Ms. Patricia Jordan. And the program works wonderfully. It's smooth. You guys always, you know, help us out with anything we need. And like I said, we've been able to purchase quite a few pieces of equipment that have helped us that we would not have been able to afford to purchase without this program. So You know, like I said, just coming from Rich Square, you know, it's extremely beneficial. I know it's extremely beneficial to everybody in our county, and we greatly appreciate it. And I'm a member of, you know, REA myself, so you know, I'm proud to say that I helped contribute to that program as well. So that's all I got. I appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening.
Thank you for that, Mark. And just wanted to check before you go, Frank, did Paul come back? Okay. Frank, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Mark. Great job. Next, we have Mr. Keith Lee. Keith Lee serves as the training officer for Perrytown Volunteer Fire Department for over the past 3 years and has recently became chief of the department. Very good. Congratulations. He has worked in fire service for over 25 years. He graduated from East Carolina University with a bachelor's degree in construction management, served the ECU Construction Management Advisory Board since 2016. He has worked at Sunbelt Rental Scaffold Services and branch manager for 2001, excuse me. And before that, he worked as a sales representative for 10 years. Mr. Lee enjoys spending time with his family, hunting, boating, and outdoor activities. And of course, he loves ECU baseball and football.
That's right.
We turn it over to you, Mr. Lee. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate this opportunity to get an opportunity to speak to everybody. First, I want to tell you, we had the opportunity to have the power demonstration team come to Perrytown and speak to do their demonstration with us a few months ago. Matter of fact, the pictures you had were from that demonstration. And I'll tell you, I've been doing this a long time, but to have those guys there and to show us all the things they were showing us, it was fascinating. Not only was it fascinating, but it was just quite a learning experience. So if anybody's on here who hasn't had that opportunity to have it at a fire department or gets the opportunity to go see it, it was incredible. So thank you, and thank y'all for REA for providing that service. But as far as the Operation Roundup program, we were in Berkeley County. We have a very small operating budget that is given to us, we have a small budget given to us by the county. Our operating budget is actually a lot larger than the money that the county provides us. So for Operation Roundup to come in and help us with some of the things we need, we spend most of our money that we have from the county just to operate, just to fuel, insurance, in the building, et cetera, trucks, all the things that you have to do. And then we're fortunate enough to get some grants through the state, et cetera. But Operation Roundup for us enabled us to pick up we were able to get 2 AED machines this year. We put one in our station. We put one in the station, and we will put one on our first aid engine. And we do a lot of fundraising events. We have a lot of people coming through the station. And for us to have AED machines there and on our trucks, it's just something that we couldn't have done. And I mean, and you never know. I mean, with that type of AED machine, hopefully we never use it. But if we do, it's there. And that's because of the program that REA provides with the Operation Roundup. We were also able to upgrade our computer system. And as I'm sure as Mark knows with his job as well, being chief in Rich Square, there's a lot of paperwork that goes on and that we have to submit to the state. So for us to have an updated computer system where we're able to communicate via email and have all of it at the station, it's been incredible. And I echo what Mark said with having Operation Roundup is critical to what we do. And we can't say thank you enough for what you guys do. And I will add to it that Patrice and everybody that I have dealt with REA has been incredible. And I don't think I've ever done anything that was any smoother of an operation. So hats off to you guys for everything you do. Thank y'all. And we appreciate everything y'all do to help us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Great job. All right, Derek, we'll turn it back over to you.
All righty, now this we're at the portion of our program where we're doing question and answer session. So all the panelists, could you please turn on your cameras, please? And for does anyone on the call that's here today participating in our webinar have any questions for any of the panelists or anything that you heard today?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Jeffers.
Let me see here. I'm looking at my notes. Okay. My question is for Mr. Barry. I would like for him to talk a little bit more on the statement he made when he said, never walk with a loaded gun.
Okay, what would you like me to say, sir? What was your question, I guess, is what I'm
Well,
getting at.
I mean, I hunt just a little bit myself. I used
Yes,
to. And you know, when I'm rabbit hunting, I gotta have my gun loaded. So
Yes, sir.
I want you to clarify that just a little bit for me.
I guess more or less what I was getting at was, as a deer in a deer hunting perspective, you're climbing up and down the deer stand. Don't climb up and down a ladder with a loaded gun, because it could fall off your shoulder and hit the ground. You know, it's one of those things you don't take for granted. Now I understand bird hunting, rabbit hunting, stuff that you're walking around. Yes, sir. Obviously, you got to have your gun loaded, but I guess more or less what I was getting at was the climbing up and down in and out of a stand. Don't do that with the gun loaded.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That would clear it up.
Yes, sir.
Great point of clarification. Any other questions? You know, I did have a question, and I think it was for Clifton. You talked about if if you were in your car, and I guess if a power line or something, was or open on your car, that you should anyhow, and don't touch the car. Is that while you're in the car, you should kind of like jump out of the car without touching the ground or the car, and then land with both feet together? I was trying to picture how to perform that.
Exactly. You got it there. The object of this is you don't want to be touching the car and the ground at the same time, because what electricity is going to do is it's going to travel through you to get the ground. So it's kind of, you need to open the door, and this is by far last option, okay? But open the door, try to stand on that, what is it, right there by your feet, your door jamb, right there. You got me? Yeah, there you go. Need to stand right there, and when you leave that car, you leave that car, okay? As far as you can. Stop right there, and you need to jump as far as you can again, both feet together. And you need to keep doing that, I would say, for a good 25 or 30 feet, okay? Because what it's doing is electricity is it's always trying to go to ground. So it dissipates out. So it's just kind of like if you were to hit a calm puddle of water, you throw a rock in the middle and you see the wave go out. Well, that's kind of what electricity is doing. And the further out it gets, it dissipates. The further you get out, the less and less and less. The problem you got it even right beside the car. You don't want 1 foot here and then step 3 foot. I would say average good step is about 3 foot. There's a difference in potential there between your left foot and where your right foot is standing. Does that make sense to you? Even standing on the ground. So you want to keep them together. It's kind of like you're trying to be the bird on the wire. Everybody asks, why does the bird stand on the wire? Well, he ain't touching nothing else. That's how he can be on the wire. But as soon as that bird touches that power line and then touches the pole or the guy wire or something like that, he's dead. So you got to become one with what that one spot. You're becoming the power line. How about that? It's
the same principle that we have to go through when we're working on the power lines. You never want to be the bridge between two potentials.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got one for Cliff about the bunny hop procedure. Now, Cliff, if you take that leap from the car to the ground, say when you land it, if you fall down, what's going to happen there?
Columbus, it's tough. I mean, this is worst case scenario now. You're trying the best is to save your life, but stay in the most centralized spot you can. You know what I mean? You want to be as tight as you can get it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
You don't want your hands on one spot. And if you do, I'll tell you something else you can do. You can shuffle. Like if you can't hop that far, shuffle your feet. I mean, just like you're going to shuffle your feet across the carpet and kind of stay in contact with the ground the whole entire time. Okay?
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Hey, this is Paul now. I got my phone is back on, but my camera won't work.
Paul, thanks for joining, sir. I did do your introduction. Did you want to go over your information that you have for us today?
Yes, I apologize. I've been having some technical difficulties with Zoom. I've got the audio but no video. Mr. Jordan, right. Mr. Jordan wanted me to talk on how important the Operation Roundup has been to Gaston Fire Department, not only Gaston Fire Department, but all the departments in Northampton County who have received funding over the years, and how important, or certainly how important these funds are to those organizations. Like I heard Chief Vic talk to Rich Square Fire Department. He certainly is a staunch partner of Northampton County EMS. But for Gaston Fire Department this year, we actually partnered with Roanoke Electric, North Carolina Department of Insurance, Office of State Fire Marshal, and CSX Corporation. And we had a project we were working on, which cost about $30,000. And we were switching all of our main extrication or jaws of life systems from running off mainly gasoline, the motors that run operated the tools, to battery operated tools. So we were able to do that. We got $5,000 from Roanoke Electric, and the rest of the funds were made up from CSX Corporation and the Department of Insurance. So we actually got the tools and got them on the truck, and have actually got somebody out of a car with them. So the success stories go on and on and on. But certainly, Roanoke Electric has been such a staunch ally, not only with that program, but the Rural Economic Development Grant Loan program too. And we had participated in that and was able to purchase a $500,000 fire truck. And without that initial capital and able to pay it back over a period of 10 years with no interest, that wouldn't have been possible for Gaston Fire Department. So our hats off to you guys for helping our services in Northampton County, especially our volunteers. Are you there?
We're still here. You're done?
Yeah. Did you hear me?
Yep. Okay. Yep. Sure did. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's all come back on camera again, guys, just in case there are any more questions. And Paul, we do thank you for that information. It's much appreciated. And I'm going to open it back up for questions again. Are there any more questions out there? Going once. I do want to say, hey, Benton, I do thank you for I'm a deer hunter myself, and I appreciate that. I have thought about a time or two of putting a deer stand on a light pole, so. So it's good.
We're going to take it down.
you'd be surprised what people will put on our poles, and it's a deer stand is going to be, it ain't going to be the first one. It won't be the last one.
That's right. That's right. Well, gentlemen, are there any more questions for anyone before we conclude the session of today's call?
Yeah, to say one more thing about Benton's hunting situation. Now that we have fiber on just about every one of our poles, duck season is coming up here soon. And we got fiber running right through the middle of some beautiful swamps. There's got plenty of ducks in there. Please don't shoot that fiber right there, because when you do, all of our metering system and how we turn off meters and that's the only way we know what's going on our system. So if you can let that word get out there, please don't shoot that line. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, that's not just knocking out your internet. That causes a lot more, because some of these meters you have to end up manually reconnecting if they ever open up, and it's a headache, once that happens. So just wait till they get a little bit lower if you're gonna shoot them, please.
That is a great point. We don't want to shoot the fiber lines, guys. So,
no.
Thank you, guys.
Good. Great point. Anything else for anyone? If not, this concludes our session of our September Power Hour series. And I want to thank everyone, all the participants and all of our panelists. Thank you for participating in today's call. And we'll see you in next month's Power Hour.
Thank you, guys.